Hello everyone, welcome back to the IES Network Internal Security Lecture Series for the Mains 2020. So, till the last class, we have discussed about various issues, be it your social media issues, cyber security issues, or money laundering. Now we'll be looking into the next topic, which is border area issues. So, what are the issues related to the various border areas that we have, be it with Afghanistan, be it with Pakistan, China, Myanmar, and this is a hot topic which is even in news even today. We are having some border issues with China as well as other countries. So it is a perpetual hot topic when it comes to your GS3 paper, and these issues have prolonged for decades, if not for even with Pakistan, etc. We have issues which have been prevailing for last 70 years since our independence. So we will be looking at all these issues, what are the various dimensions, and we'll try and look at these issues from each and every country as well as border area perspective. So let's begin with it. So for example, here I've simply drew a map which you can also draw in your answers. So this is a type of map which you can draw in your answers. It need not be uh, correct to the scale. It needs to be just a representation of uh, the real scenario on the ground. However, you must make sure that there are no major incorrect representation in the map, and it's need not be required that you draw exactly this map. If the question is with, let's say, Indian issues with Pakistan, you can draw a segment of this map. You need not draw whole of the map, and you can even mention some specific points if they are relevant to the question. So this is just to show that these kind of maps could be used in the internal security questions which are related to your border areas. Okay, and this map should be complementing your answer. It should not be that in every internal security border related question you dump this map. You should basically see that if it is relevant and if it can convey some meaning or not, and you should not waste too much time into drawing this map. It should be drawn in maximum 15-20 seconds, that's all. So having said that, let's begin with the issue. So basically, as we all know, we share boundaries with 7 countries, land boundaries. So that is Afghanistan, Pakistan, China, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. These are the 7 Indian border sharing neighbors. If we consider among them, the largest land boundary that we have is with Bangladesh, which is over 4,000 kilometers, followed by Nepal and China, with whom we have, sorry, followed by China and Pakistan, with whom we have roughly 3,500 kilometers worth of boundary. And similarly, there is a decreasing trend. You do not need to know the exact numbers, but you should have a rough idea of how big your land frontiers with these countries are, and over which states, which kind of different geographical terrains they map across. Because geography is one thing which leads to a lot of which is the source of a lot of border disputes, etc. So you must be knowing that which all states share boundaries, what are the important areas, what are the major dispute areas between these countries, etc. So let's try and look at the individual cases as. Now let's try and look at why exactly are these issues too much important, and why do we need to study these border issues. The reason is that, and what is the core reason behind majority of these border issues. So we must understand that before 1940s, 19 and around our independence, before that period, this whole Indian subcontinent was a part of a single landmass, single political entity, which included your current day Pakistan, Bangladesh, as well as Myanmar, Nepal. So these were all under the British Empire. So there was a cultural, ethnic, political integrity among these regions. So they shared a cohesiveness. Now, at the time of partition and the British leaving this Indian subcontinent, due to some vested interest as well as the political uh, conditions of that moment of time, these political boundaries were created. And however, there was not much due diligence as well as uh, due diligence, or would say that ground level intelligence was not taken as to what should be the exact boundaries and where they should be exactly passing through, and the homogeneity of the region thus formed was not taken was not given serious consideration. Thus, it has resulted into the border lines cutting across various ethnic, social, economic communities. So you might very easily have in this Indian subcontinent where a single family might be having few members living on one side of the border, whereas few members living on the other side of the border. So these kind of issues have been created, and due to this, all of a sudden coming up of new political entities, drawing up of boundaries, it led to disruption of the way of life that the people had before these things happen. So there was a disruption of trade, so the people's livelihood as well as their socio-economic identity was challenged, because due to these boundaries few groups became minorities in a region where they belonged as a majority earlier. For example, few Bengali speaking people went to your Bangladesh, whereas few Bengali speaking people remained in Indian West Bengal. So there, as an overall community, even within those Bengali speaking people, if they have some specific dialect, they might have been reduced to a minority status in Bangladesh or in India, whereas they might have been in majority in the undivided uh, Indian subcontinent. So these kind of issues were created. So one of the major reason behind all these disputes, border area disputes, is the difference in expectation or difference in uh, point of view regarding the exact boundaries, because these were not delineated properly and different parties have different claims based on different sources in the past of the region, that and they have different claims that one region might one party might believe that a region belongs to them, whereas the other party thinks that it belongs to them. For example, there are contentious issues like your Arunachal Pradesh. For example, Arunachal Pradesh, India very clearly states that it is an integral part of India, whereas China claims that it is part of Tibet. So these kind of issues are there. Similarly, there is something, the Aksai Chin region of India, which is completely Indian territory. However, Chinese claim it based on the past records, which claims that it belongs to China. So these kind of issues are there. So let's try and look at some examples. जैसे हमें समझ में आएगा कि बेसिकली इन इश्यूज़ की गहराई क्या है एंड इसके रीसेंट टाइम्स में क्या एग्जांपल्स हैं जहाँ से हम इन्फरेंस ले सकते हैं कि हाँ ये इश्यूज़ आज भी प्रिवेलेंट है, ये एक जस्ट एक लेगेसी नहीं है कि जो आज से 50 साल पहले के इश्यूज़ हैं, ये चीज़ आज भी हमारे जियोपॉलिटिक्स को, हमारे इकोनॉमिक्स को, हमारे रिलेशंस को विद दीज कंट्रीज़ डिफ़ाइन करती है। एंड ये हमारे परपेचुअल इश्यूज़ हैं जिनको हम रिजॉल्व करके एक दूसरे के साथ एक बेटर कोऑर्डिनेशन कर सकते हैं, और जो साउथ एशियन इकोनॉमीज़ हैं वो एक दूसरे के साथ इंटीग्रेट हो सकती हैं, प्रोवाइडेड हम ये इश्यूज़ को एमिकलेबली रिजॉल्व कर पाएँ। सो लेट्स ट्राई एंड लुक एट सम एग्जांपल्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, बांग्लादेश एंड इंडिया शेयर अ पोरस काइंड ऑफ अ बॉर्डर, जिसका रीज़न है कि वहाँ पे बहुत सारे जोग्राफिकल कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं टू प्रॉपरली डेलिनेट द बाउंड्रीज. सो इसकी वजह से एंड इंडिया एंड बांग्लादेश के रिलेशन ऑफ लेट इन द लास्ट 10-15 ईयर्स हैव बीन वेरी गुड एंड दे हैव बीन मैच्योरिंग ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. इसलिए बांग्लादेश इंडिया को ट्रांजिट अलाउ करता है, बी इट थ्रू वाटरवेज फॉर कार्गो और बी इट थ्रू रोड फॉर पैसेंजर्स. तो इंडिया एंड बांग्लादेश ने एक ट्रीटी साइन करी है, प्रोटोकॉल ऑन इंडियन वाटर ट्रांजिट एंड ट्रेड, जिसके थ्रू हम ट्रांजिट कर पाते हैं और ट्रेड कर पाते हैं, विच इज़ बेनिफिशियल फॉर बोथ द कंट्रीज़. बिकॉज अगर हमें यहाँ से नॉर्थ ईस्ट के किसी भी स्टेट में, फॉर एग्जांपल हमें त्रिपुरा में कोई मेनलैंड से हमें अगर कार्गो पहुँचाना है, अगर हम उसे नॉर्मल रूट से लेके जाएंगे तो देर इज़ अ रीजन होना सिलीगुड़ी कॉरिडोर जो कि वेस्ट बंगाल में पड़ता है. वहाँ के थ्रू अगर हम रूट करेंगे उसे, तो एक नॉर्मल कार्गो को जितना टाइम लगता है और उसके कंपैरिजन में अगर हम उसे बांग्लादेश के थ्रू ट्रांसलेट करें तो वो टाइम आधे से भी कम हो जाता है, जो हमारे लिए कॉस्ट एडवांटेजेस भी है, टाइम एडवांटेजेस भी है. सिमिलरली बांग्लादेश चार्जेस ट्रांसिट फीस ऑन दैट, तो बांग्लादेश को भी फ़ायदा है. तो ये एक एग्जाम्पल है जहाँ पर अगर हम एमिकलेबली बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट्स एज वेल एज बॉर्डर इश्यूज़ को हम रिजॉल्व कर पाएँ और एक प्रॉपर सीमलेस मैकेनिज़्म डेवलप कर पाएँ जिसके थ्रू हमारे गुड्स, पैसेंजर्स ट्रेड कर पाएँ, तो वो दोनों इकॉनमी के लिए विन विन सिचुएशन क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. सिमिलरली हमने बांग्लादेश के साथ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट 100th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट के थ्रू हमने एनक्लेव्स एक्सचेंज करी हैं बांग्लादेश के साथ, विच आर बेसिकली जो कि रीजन थे इंडियन टेरिटरी में, ये एनक्लेव्स जो इंडियन टेरिटरी में थे वो आइडियली बांग्लादेश के कंट्रोल में थे, जहाँ की बांग्लादेश की जो फिजिकल टेरिटरी के अंदर एनक्लेव्स थे वो इंडियन कंट्रोल के अंदर थे। तो हमने रिसेंटली एनक्लेव्स को एक्सचेंज किया है एमिकेबली थ्रू अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट। तो ये पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन है कि जिस तरीके से अगर हम इन इशूज़ को रिजॉल्व कर सकते हैं, अगर कहीं पे हमें एग्जांपल देना पड़े कि कैसे इनका इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है, positive impact, so we can quote these kind of examples. Similarly, there are issues when it comes to there are negative examples as well, जैसे कि सियाचिन ग्लेशियर है, वहाँ पे हमने ट्रूप्स मेंटेन कर रखी हैं। हमने ऑपरेशन मेघदूत के द्वारा 1984 में सियाचिन ग्लेशियर को अपने कंट्रोल में लिया था, बिकॉज अब वहाँ पे एक डिस्क्रिपेंसी है बिटवीन इंडियन एज वेल एज पाकिस्तान पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। इंडियन, as per the Shimla Accord, it was said that the LOC would be the formal dividing line between India and Pakistan, and the LOC would extend till NJ 9842, which is basically a pillar, a location in the region, and from there it would move northwards along the glacier. Now, in the definition of along the glacier, there is a confusion between Indian point of view and पाकिस्तान पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, जिसकी वजह से सियाचिन ग्लेशियर एक कंटेस्टेड एरिया है। सो अब हम उस पोस्ट को, बिकॉज नाउ इट इज़ अंडर आर कंट्रोल, वी आर स्पेंडिंग मोर देन करोड्स ऑफ रुपीज़ पर डे टू मैनेज आर पोस्ट ओवर देयर। जिसकी, और अगर मैं आपको वहाँ के कंडीशंस के बारे में बताऊँ तो देयर हैज़ बीन लॉट ऑफ deaths due to frost bites. Our soldiers have been martyred over there just because of frost bites. So it is costing us in terms of money as well as manpower as well as our precious life of our jawans. So these kind of issues also arise. Similarly, you might be aware that 2 to 3 years back, basically in 2017, there was a face-off between India and China at Doklam. Doklam is a region in your Sikkim region. So there was a face-off between India and China. So because they were trying to construct a motorable road connecting the Chumbi Valley with the Doklam Plateau. So these kind of issues are prevalent. Even today, if we see the news, there is an issue in the Ladakh region between India and China, and currently the forces are at a standoff. So these kind of issues, these examples you can quote into showing that what is the importance of the border regions as well as resolving these border disputes. So we can show the negative consequences of not being able to resolve as well as the positive consequences that if we are able to resolve amicably, we would be able to achieve a much better future economically, politically as well as socially. So these were few examples. So now let's try and look into each and every country individually and what are the issues that we are having with these countries. We'll look at it through different dimensions, be it geographical, be it social, be it political, economical, ethnic. So what are the major issues? We'll try and look with taking each and every border into consideration. So let's begin with India and Bangladesh. As I have already told you that Bangladesh and India share the biggest land border, which is around 4096 km long. So now the major issues, contentious issues between India and Bangladesh in terms of border is, let's try and look at first of all the geographical aspects of this border. We must be aware that India and Bangladesh border is not a very easy terrain to govern. Reason being, it is crossed by numerous rivers. There are forest driven areas, mountainous or hilly region in that in the border. So it's not easy to patrol these border or for that matter fence these borders. As many as 54 rivers cross from India to Bangladesh, and these rivers are not, you cannot have troops patrolling the rivers in between, and these rivers might be as big as Brahmaputra, which has a width of more than 2-3 kilometers. So, and similarly there are dense forests, mountainous regions, hilly regions, so it's not a very conducive environment to man these borders, and this is one of the factors which is leading to a lot of issues. For example, it might be leading to your infiltration, your smuggling of arms, smuggling of drugs, similarly cattle smuggling, a lot of other issues are being created, and illegal migration. So geography is one of the contributing factor to this. Similarly, now let's look at the social and ethnic reasons why there are border disputes, border issues when it comes to India and Bangladesh. So the major social and ethnic reason is that there are many families who have been bifurcated due to the drawing up of these artificial boundaries. So there might be few families which have their relatives living on the other side of the border. So there are marriage relations, parental relations, these kind of relations are there across the border. So they need to have some cultural exchanges, they want to meet those people. So these kind of issues create these kind of relations, create an environment where the border cannot be manned properly, and you, even if the state regulates it with a strict hand, it might create to alienation of the people, because you would, for example, if we are asked to prove our citizenship every now and then, it might alienate us from the state. Similar is the condition over there, where they want to have cultural exchanges very often. So let's say in a year, if a person whose family is living on the other side of the border wants to exchange views, meet their family members, let's say 3 or 4 times a year, and if they have to prove their citizenship and go through a rigorous check of every 3 to 4 times a year, it might alienate those people. So ethnic and social considerations is another contributing factor to these kind of border issues. Similarly, there are political issues. Political issues in the sense that uh, the regimes on both sides of the border are not exactly the same. India has a very vibrant democracy, whereas Bangladesh is still a developing democracy. So the the living conditions, the type of rights that the people have across both the borders is not exactly the same, which might contribute to a pull factor or a push factor for the people to come from one side of the border to the other side. Similarly, the economic conditions are not the same. Bangladesh, no doubt, has been improving its economic conditions in the last 1 or 2 decades and has now become the India's biggest trade partner in South Asia. However, still there is a huge disparity in the standard of living when it comes to India and Bangladesh, which leads to a pull factor for the people working in Bangladesh to cross the border and enjoy better rights, better uh, economic living standards in India. So these factors are contributing to the border issues in between India and Bangladesh. Now let's try and look at what are the exact issues. So these were the contributing factors to the issues. Now let's try and look at what are the exact issues that these factors are leading to. So one of the major contested issue between India and Bangladesh is the illegal migration. So it might be happening due to pull factors as well as push factors. So as we are aware that we are at a higher development stage in comparison to Bangladesh, which leads to a pull factor for people living in Bangladesh. So the people might be migrating from Bangladesh to India in search for better work opportunities, better living standards, better health opportunities, etc., etc. Similarly, there might be some vested interests who are who wants people from Bangladesh to come into India for some political considerations. For example, they could be, if few people are accommodated into India, they could be used as a voter bank in India for furthering their political interests. So these kind of issues could be there. So as we are aware that this illegal migration has created a lot of ruckus in India. NRC is the latest example of this. Similarly, there was something known as the Assam Accord, which was signed in 1985 after a violent protest in Assam, led by ASU, which is the Students Union of Assam. So basically, these kind illegal migration is creating internal security threats in the form of your internal demographic change as well as economical challenges in terms of policy. Similarly, threatening the ethnicity of the people living in, for example, Assam. Assam people have a grievance that they have been reduced, the Assamese speaking people have been reduced to a minority in their own region. So illegal migration is one of the biggest contentious issue when it comes to India and Bangladesh. Similarly, the second most contentious issue between India and Bangladesh is cattle smuggling. As I told you that there are more than 54 rivers that cross from India to Bangladesh. As India is an upper riparian state, so if the cattle are to be smuggled from India to Bangladesh, they could be very easily set afloat in the rivers, and it can very easily cross to the Bangladesh side where they could be retrieved and used for any economical purposes. And India has been struggling to tackle with this issue. Another contributing factor, another important issue is that Bangladesh is many times used as a safe house or a launching pad for various insurgent groups like Ulfa, Naga related factions. So these are using Bangladesh as a launch base for their various nefarious activities. So which basically are using these porous borders to cross the border and even smuggle arms, etc. So these are the major issues, and as I told you, these 4 dimensions are basically the issues, basically the factors which are contributing to these issues, and these are the major problems areas, be it illegal migration, be it cattle smuggling, be it your financing as well as launch pads for various insurgent groups, etc. So this covers that what are the reasons or what are the factors that are leading to issues with respect to Bangladesh and what are the actual issues. Now let's try and look at the western front, that is with Pakistan. What are the reasons behind or what are the factors that are contributing to the India-Pakistan border issues and what are the issues in itself. So similar to बांग्लादेश, जो हमारी पाकिस्तान के साथ भी जोग्राफ़ी है वो भी बहुत ही डाइवर्स है. जैसा कि आप सब जानते हैं, इंडिया के 4 स्टेट्स पाकिस्तान के साथ, 3 स्टेट्स और 1 यूनियन टेरिटरी पाकिस्तान के साथ बॉर्डर शेयर करता है, विच इंक्लूड्स योर गुजरात, राजस्थान, पंजाब एंड द यूटी ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर. सो बेसिकली जो इन चारों स्टेट्स की जोग्राफ़ी है वो बहुत ही डिफरेंट है. जैसे कि आपका गुजरात में एक टाइडल एरिया है जहाँ पे रिवर्स एस्चुरीज भी हैं, टाइड्स भी आती हैं, टाइडल एरिया है. सिमिलरली राजस्थान में थार डेजर्ट है जो कि एक डेजर्ट काइंड ऑफ एरिया है. पंजाब प्लेन एरिया है. स्टेट ऑफ जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर आपके पास ग्लेशियर्स हैं, हिमालयन माउंटेन्स हैं. सो जो जोग्राफ़ी है वो बहुत ही डाइवर्स है. एंड अगेन पाकिस्तान की तरह ही बहुत सारी रिवर्स इंडिया से पाकिस्तान को क्रॉस करती हैं, जिसके अंदर मेजर रिवर्स भी हैं आपकी इंडस, सतलुज, ब्यास, झेलम एट्सेट्रा एट्सेट्रा. सो द जोग्राफी इन इटसेल्फ मेक्स इट टफ टू मैन दीज बॉर्डर्स. और बीच में आपके फॉरेस्ट हैं, लॉट ऑफ अदर इश्यूज आर देयर. सो ये टफ बनाता है उस बॉर्डर को प्रॉपरली मैनेज करना, जो कि ऑप्शंस क्रिएट करता है फॉर these border issues. भले ही वो infiltration हो, immigration हो, these kind of issues surface because we are not able to properly monitor these borders. Then comes the political issues. Political issues इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के border issues में बहुत बड़ा contributing factor है, because जो पाकिस्तान, as we all know, पाकिस्तान has a deep state in the form of your ISI. So वहाँ पे जो political dispensation है वो एक एंटी इंडिया एजेंडा के बेसिस पे काम करती है. एंड उनका जो डे एंड डे आउट अफेयर है, बिकॉज दे आर अवेयर दैट दे कैन नॉट विन अ कन्वेंशनल वॉर विद इंडिया. तो उसकी वजह से उन्होंने जो स्ट्रैटेजी चेंज करके एक प्रॉक्सी वॉर की स्ट्रैटेजी इंडिया के साथ फॉलो करना स्टार्ट कर दी है, जिसकी वजह से हम इश्यूज़ देखते हैं हमारे टेररिज्म से रिलेटेड इंडिया में, और या इन्फिल्ट्रेशन से या LOC वायलेशन टाइप के इश्यूज़. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ इश्यूज़ आर प्रिवेलेंट बिकॉज ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल डिस्पेंसेशन इन पाकिस्तान. सो कुछ हमारे जो इंडिया पाकिस्तान के बॉर्डर इश्यूज़ हैं उनका जो फैक्टर्स हैं, उनके जो कंट्रीब्यूटिंग फैक्टर्स हैं, कुछ उनके जोग्राफिकल फैक्टर हैं, कुछ उनके पॉलिटिकल डिस्पेंसेशन की वजह से जो फैक्टर्स हैं. सिमिलरली देयर आर सम सोशल फैक्टर्स आल्सो. For example, there are numerous refugees which came from Pakistan to India, and some went from India to Pakistan during the partition. So उस टाइम पे अब उनकी family members could be present on both sides of the border. So again ये borders are cutting through the social ethnic identities of the people. Similarly जो जम्मू एंड कश्मीर है उसके अंदर अब जो हमारी LOC ड्रॉ हो गई है बेस्ड ऑन आवर शिमला एग्रीमेंट 1972. So basically people living on both sides of the LOC are basically people of the same ethnicity, same religion, similar economic background. So वो एक conducive environment provide करता है क्योंकि लोगों के एक दूसरे से links हैं, लोग एक दूसरे से interact करना चाहते हैं, वो conducive environment provide करता है to these anti-state actors from different countries to exploit their vulnerabilities, exploit their interest in terms of wanting to communicate, wanting to meet their near and dear ones. So these are the contributing factors which are leading to these kind of issues. अब हम समझेंगे कि इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के बीच में एक्चुअल बॉर्डर इश्यूज हैं क्या. सो फ्यू ऑफ द important contentious locations when it comes to India and Pakistan border are your first of all the state of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir. India on the basis of instrument of accession very clearly claims that it is the part of Indian territory and our article 1 applies to the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir. However, Pakistan claims that as Jammu Kashmir at the time of partition was a Muslim dominated state, so it should have been clubbed with Pakistan. So it was taken to UN and still remains a contentious issue between the two states. And the LOC, which was to be eventually accommodated as a international border as per the Shimla Accord, remains the line of control on the ground. So across the LOC there are numerous issues, be it infiltration, be it violations of the ceasefire agreement. So these are the issues, major issues between India and Pakistan. Similarly, cross-border terrorism is one of the major irritant in the Indian-Pakistan relation. Pakistan has a state policy of promoting terrorism in India, which they are using numerous mechanisms in order to do that, because they have a anti-India state agenda and they are trying to destabilize India. Okay, and this can be done through multiple ways, be it challenging our economy through counterfeit currency, or be it challenging our international borders through infiltration, through your ceasefire violations, or be it through socially or social violations, be it in terms of antagonize, trying to woo our people, as well as trying to brainwash Indian people in order to join some terrorist groups which are working against Indian interests. So let's try and look at few incidences where these issues are, so the current hot issues that are going on between India and Pakistan. So J&K has remained a contentious issue between India and Pakistan, and after the abrogation of Article 370, Pakistan has been raising this issue at multiple forums, be it UN, be it any place. They have not left even a single stage where they have not tried to raise this issue to show that India is going forward with human rights violation, etc., which are completely baseless. Similarly, Pakistan has been trying to revive militancy in Punjab. There was a Khalistan referendum which was signed recently, which claims to revive the movement of militancy in Punjab in order to create a separate state of Khalistan. Similarly, the recent initiative, which was a cultural and I would say people-to-people initiative between India and Pakistan, which was Kartarpur Corridor, which tries to link which tries to create a passage for the Sikh people who want to visit the Guru Nanak's Gurudwara. So basically this was a people-to-people initiative which was seen in a positive light. However, there has been some issues regarding this as well, that it has been thought of that it might be even used to up the scale in the Khalistan movement. Similarly, Hawala channel is one of the ways which is being used to bring in funding for anti-national agents within India from Pakistan, as well as counterfeit currency is one of the major issues through which they are trying to destabilize our Indian economy. And demonetization was one solid proof that this mechanism is going on in India, because as soon as demonetization happened, the amount of militancy and other issues in Jammu Kashmir reduced substantially, because the counterfeit currency that was coming from Pakistan was stopped due to demonetization. So the major points of contention when it comes to India and Pakistan border is, one is Jammu Kashmir, second is your Siachen glacier, third is your Sir Creek. Sir Creek is basically a estuary region in Gujarat, where there is a contention between the share of the water, or where exactly the boundaries lie, which part belongs to Pakistan, which part belongs to India. So one is your geographical contentious boundary issues, so which are grouped into three. One is your Siachen glacier in Gujarat, similarly your Sar Creek in Gujarat, Siachen glacier in Jammu Kashmir, and similarly the whole state of Jammu Kashmir based on the instrument of accession. Apart from these geographical locations, geographical border disputes, there are other issues which include your cross-border terrorism, hostility towards India, anti-India propaganda, trying to destabilize, counterfeit currency, trying to revive the militancy in terms of Khalistan referendum. So these all are the issues. So the contributing factors were social, political, geographical issues, and so these were contributing to these factors, because the geography is basically ensuring that these borders are not being monitored properly, thus enabling infiltration, counterfeit currency being moving around, as well as they being able to propagate a anti-India propaganda. Political, because the Pakistan anti-state actors are getting support from their state in terms of ISI, in terms of their political dispensation. Similarly, the social factors create a conducive environment where they can use the local people by exploiting their vulnerabilities in order to further their interests. So this completes our understanding of the India and Pakistan border. Now comes to India and China border. Now as we are aware that इंडिया और चाइना के बीच में जो बॉर्डर है वो 5 स्टेट्स के अक्रॉस बटा हुआ है. जो आस्टवाइल हमारा स्टेट था जम्मू कश्मीर, या अब हम कह सकते हैं हमारा यूटी ऑफ लद्दाख, हिमाचल प्रदेश, उत्तराखंड, सिक्किम एंड अरुणाचल. अब हम अभी तक जो हमने देखे थे बॉर्डर्स, बीट विद बांग्लादेश एंड बीट विद योर पाकिस्तान, हमारे जो स्टेट्स हैं वो एक दूसरे से कनेक्टेड थे इन टर्म्स ऑफ शेयरिंग देयर बाउंड्री विद द नेबरिंग कंट्री. परंतु जब हम चाइना के साथ बात करते हैं, हमारे स्टेट्स कनेक्टेड नहीं हैं. 3 स्टेट्स हमारे वेस्टर्न फ्रंट में हैं, 2 स्टेट्स हमारे ईस्टर्न फ्रंट में हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल जम्मू कश्मीर, हिमाचल प्रदेश एंड उत्तराखंड, ये हमारे वेस्टर्न फ्रंट पे पड़ते हैं, और सिक्किम और अरुणाचल प्रदेश हमारे ईस्टर्न फ्रंट पे पड़ते हैं, जिसकी वजह से हमारा एक इफेक्टिव रिस्पॉन्स होने में थोड़ी दिक्कतें आती हैं. एंड सिमिलरली जो जोग्राफिकल कंडीशंस है अक्रॉस दीज 5 स्टेट्स वो भी थोड़ी डिफरेंट हो जाती है. अब इंडिया का लगभग 3,500 किलोमीटर का बाउंड्री है चाइना के साथ अक्रॉस दीज 5 स्टेट्स. सो जोग्राफी अगेन एक इम्पॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है, बिकॉज जोग्राफी आप बदल नहीं सकते हैं. सो ये हमेशा जब भी आपके बॉर्डर इश्यूज़ हैं, जोग्राफी इज़ अ मेजर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग फैक्टर टू द इश्यूज़ बीइंग क्रिएटेड. एक तो इशू है हमारा जोग्राफी का, जो फैक्टर कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है. दूसरा फैक्टर जो कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है इसमें वो है द पॉलिटिकल डिस्पेंसेशन या इन चाइना. द पॉलिटिकल डिस्पेंसेशन इन चाइना इज़ वेरी असर्टिव. सो अब जो धीरे धीरे चाइना का इन्फ्लुएंस इन द ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स एज वेल एज इकोनॉमिक्स इज़ ग्रोइंग, एंड द वेस्ट इज़ बेसिकली द वेस्ट इन्फ्लुएंस और वेस्ट इज़ बैक ट्रैकिंग, जिसकी वजह से चाइना के जो स्टांस है वो एग्रेसिव हो गया है. चाइना की एक बहुत ही कॉमन पॉलिसी है विच इज़ नोन एज सलामी स्लाइसिंग टेक्निक. सो बेसिकली वो क्या करते हैं इस टेक्निक में कि वो कुछ ग्राउंड पे माइन्यूट इश्यूज़ क्रिएट करते हैं, जो स्टेटस को है उसको चैलेंज करते हैं, और वो धीरे धीरे उसको एक न्यू रियलिटी और यानी एक न्यू नॉर्मल में कन्वर्ट करते हैं. ये आप हर जगह देखेंगे. चाइना जहाँ भी जिस भी कंट्री के साथ उनका बॉर्डर लगता है, वो उनके सब के साथ उनके बॉर्डर इश्यूज़ हैं, एंड वो धीरे धीरे अपनी जोग्राफिकल एरिया बढ़ाते हैं यूजिंग दिस सलामी स्लाइसिंग टेक्निक. नाउ चाइना का एक दूसरा एंगल जो है वो दे आर सपोर्टिंग पाकिस्तान, and Pakistan is hand in glove with China. So which basically they are giving them arms, they are giving them military technology, and trying to woo them against India. So basically, China has a China has a conscious strategy that India should be involved with Pakistan perpetually, so that we cannot grow and challenge their authority in Asia. So China का जो aim है वो है यूनिपोलर एशिया. तो एशिया में एक ही मेजर पावर होना चाहिए, वो है चाइना, एंड द वर्ल्ड शुड बी बाइपोलर वेयर दो मेजर पोल्स होंगे, वन इज बीइंग यूएसए एंड द अदर बीइंग चाइना. सो ये उनकी एक कॉन्शियस स्ट्रैटेजी है. सो द पॉलिटिकल डिस्पेंसेशन ऑल्सो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट्स टू द लॉट ऑफ इशूज़ बिटवीन इंडिया एंड चाइना. सिमिलरली वहाँ एक डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट नहीं है, वहाँ एक कम्युनिस्ट गवर्नमेंट है जो कि अथॉरिटेरियन, ऑलमोस्ट एक अथॉरिटेरियन रजीम है. वो डिक्टेट करती है कि वहाँ के जो पॉलिसीज़ हैं वो क्या होंगे. सो बहुत बार जो पॉलिसीज़ उनके जनरल इंटरेस्ट में भी नहीं होती वो भी फॉरवर्ड की जाती है. वेयर एज इंडिया हैज़ अ डेमोक्रेटिक सिस्टम वेयर द पीपल आर द सॉवरन. सो ये एक बहुत बड़ा मेजर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग फैक्टर है बिटवीन इंडिया एंड चाइनीज़ बॉर्डर इश्यूज़. सो वन इज़ योर जोग्राफी, अदर इज़ योर political decision. Third is your economic factors. Economic factors in India and China's relation is that China is not very much dependent on India. India has China as its second largest trading partner after US, whereas China does not have India in even its top 5 trading partners. So this gives leverage to China that it can use its economy, its economic independence of India in order to further its interest in terms of border disputes. तो वो बड़ी easily without thinking कि हाँ इसके repercussions क्या होंगे. और चाइना की इकॉनमी हमारे से roughly 4 times है, जिसकी वजह से they have the backing of the economy that they can take these aggressive stance. So contributing factors your geographical factors हैं, political factors हैं, economic factors भी. And now let's try and look at what are the actual issues on ground जहाँ पे contentious है between India and China. So one of the major contention between India and China is the region of Arunachal Pradesh, where China claims that it is the part of Tibet, whereas India claims that it is an integral part of our Indian territory, and which is correct as well, because it has always been the part of, for more than 100 years it has been part of our India, and as well as it has been governed by Indian state. Whereas China has something known as Himalayan 5 fingers policy, where it claims that it has 5 fingers. So the palm is the China mainland, whereas the 5 fingers point to 5 different regions in the Asian continent, which include your Ladakh, your Tibet, Bhutan, as well as Arunachal Pradesh. So this is a conscious, this is also an example of their salami slicing technique. So they want to create they want to deviate from the status quo. As you all know that Ladakh is an integral part of Indian territory, Arunachal is also an integral part of Indian territory, whereas Bhutan is a separate independent nation, but they want to challenge these status quo. They want to create some ruckus on the ground, and then slowly using their political economic clout that they have in the international domain, they want to create a new normal. So this is one of the example. Similarly, as I told you that there were issues in Doklam region where they were trying to construct a motorable road in order to mobilize their armies and create further issues. So this is again an example of salami slicing, because if they are able to create a motorable road and if they are able to set up their army bases over there, it would essentially after few years it would become the part of their Chinese territory, and they would be able to use the hard hand against the small nations like Bhutan or Tibet, for example. So similarly, we are facing a standoff as of today in Galwan Valley in Ladakh, where they are again trying to challenge our status quo. Similarly, there is another region in your Aksai chain, which is basically a region that belongs to India as per the instrument of accession. However, China, using its pressure tactics after the war of 1962, has taken over that region. Is ideally now administered by China. So if we have to see the geographical regions where we have contentious issue, we have on the western front your Siachen Glacier as well as the current Galwan Valley in Ladakh. Similarly, on the eastern front we have issues with respect to Doklam as well as the whole of Arunachal Pradesh, which is claimed by your China. Now, when it comes to your other issues with respect to India and China is that they have been consciously and deliberately supporting communist regimes in India via funding support or be it through armed support, and they are routing it through our different neighbors, be it through your Myanmar, be it through Bangladesh. So they have been the constant supplier of funds to various anti-state actors operating within India. So they have been ideological support, financial support, as well as logistic support to them. So these are the issues when it comes to India and China border. So in this lecture, we try to understand what is the importance of borders, what are the Indian neighboring states. Similarly, we understood that why we need to manage our borders properly, and why and how if these border issues are not resolved properly, how they can contribute negatively to our economic growth, development, as well as social stability. Similarly, if we are able to resolve them, we would be having substantial benefits in all these domains. So we try to understand that. We discuss few examples of the latest border issues when it comes to our neighbors. Then we try to look at each and every border from an individual perspective. What are the factors underlying these or contributing to these border issues, and what are these border issues in itself? So we tried to look at India-Bangladesh border, then we followed it with India-Pakistan border, and followed with India-China border. In the next lecture, we'll continue with the remaining bordering states that we have, and we'll try and have a overall understanding of how to resolve these border issues, as well as what can international cooperation do in these kind of issues, and how can we move ahead with it. So this would be all from this lecture. Meet you in the next lecture. If you like our video, please subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends. Thank you.